Are you good there, Joe?
I think I'm good. Good.
I thought that was gonna fall. Oh no. That.
Stop recording. What are we doing? If you want to take a break, take a break.
That's everyone, right?
Yeah.
No,
No, two more.
2 more?
Yeah. No, oh, 3 more. Doesn't matter. Take a break. Okay, looks nice. No, take it. You want to take a break. Take it. Yeah, go ahead. Take a break, Craig. Don't need to.
Yeah, because uh-oh, the comedian.
I tell you jokes.
Craig, can you show the finish you did on Funny Boy here?
I can't even remember what we did.
It was kind of like his shin was across your chest, and you sort of pressed it in.
Remember how we set it up?
Okay, like it was almost like you did a sleeper hold on his Achilles. It was the shoelaces of his foot gone onto your chest somehow.
Yeah, but you see, I don't. Obviously, I could attack the back. Yeah, that's probably a great option. But if we're looking for legs, I'm not gonna roll over my forehead. I'm gonna try and like beer and bowl over to try and re-expose the heel.
Yeah.
So this is what I was looking for, and I think you reacted.
Yeah, I think I pulled and I came inside of your hip.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I landed here.
And now is that what is that? Is that a reverse heel hook?
Yeah. So you see, I've got a pretty weak grip here, or
Yeah.
maybe butterfly or regular gable.
Yeah.
He's saying I shouldn't have tapped.
The knee was almost slipping out, but I went with this reverse grip just to create a bit more of a wedge under the heel.
Ah.
And I'm reaching for my bicep.
Oh, okay. It almost looked like a sleeper hold, but it really is. It's a reverse heel hook because you have the counter force there.
And I think a lot of people make this a mistake is they go elbow to elbow. But what I actually want to do is I want to pull my elbow under their heel, and it helps if I open this hand up.
That.
If I hold it down in a way that looks more visually secure, you see my elbow is coming outside.
Can you guys switch on the camera so I can see they come this way? Show you.
Every time his hand comes up, I feel the pressure
Yeah.
a lot more.
So you see, if I went elbow to elbow,
Yeah.
my elbow is slipping out from under the heel.
Yeah.
If I pull my elbow back under the heel, we're actually creating
Okay.
a bit more of a wedge. So
And-
visually it looks less secure, but it's
So if he's rolling around and being slippery in there, it's kind of a way to secure him and finish.
yeah, that was very close to slipping out. I think maybe the wedge caused a tap, but I think it could have gone either way there.
Cool.
We're going in the mat and in the bed.
I want to get arm lock, not leg lock. We're not so.
That was a healthy pup.
You all right?
Yeah.
It was his toes.
Thank you. That's on the Fanatics Health Insurance, right?
I was supposed to get a bill.
You're good, bro. Thanks, bro.
You can do that hip grip to me. Nice move.
Nice. So slippery. Tap. I got a question. So you obviously play between the high knee shield, the low knee shield a lot. What's your general strategy for both of those? Opening the guy up, dealing with pressure. What are you thinking where you're thinking I need to move between one or the other?
I think if I need to hang on to someone and keep someone close, the low knee shield probably works a little better. If I want to get some distance, start looking to come underneath, I'll probably open it up a little, start looking to invert. But it's a constant game of bait. It'll probably cost me one day. Leaving my leg high there, I'm safe as long as I get under their leg. If they start to attack that top leg, I have to be ready to come on top. But it's a constant game of bait. They want to pressure. They know I'm going for legs. They see my legs vulnerable there. It's a constant game of them thinking about attacking that leg.
What would you say is the progression where someone should start off learning leg locks, and where should they start, and where should they how should their learning progress?
Yep.
If you were to set a path, like which moves?
I'd probably start looking at being able to finish people with straight ankle locks.
Yep.
Understanding how to control those positions.
Okay.
And then
Do you want to show a couple key aspects? Joe, would you want to jump in?
yeah. I would if I started I guess understanding the straight ankle lock positions via single leg. Just mainly from my days playing in the gi. Like wanting to be confident to be able to control someone with this single leg X position, confident and looking for the far leg, and then really progressing from here. Having the ability to get entries to positions like this, and also being able to hang on to my opponent, and obviously being cautious of their controls. And then one of the a great progression would be to start understanding X guard,
Yep.
and the ability to off balance my opponent to put their hands on the floor. Obviously, once my opponent's hands are on the floor, we can start looking to get to the saddle position, which would be an elevation. And start looking to attack this inside leg. And then as well, a lot of great entries to the legs come off sweep attempts. So if you drop your knees, like a great one, a lot of people have trouble attacking from butterfly guard. But say we do get a sweep, when Isaac's trying to fight up is when I start looking for the back step. The back step's a great control position, great position to get on top. But a lot of people have trouble entering from the reverse X from the butterfly guard.
Yeah.
So if you keep playing your sweeping game, you use the sweep attempts to back step would be one of the one of my preferred methods getting there.
Cool.
So you mentioned the straight ankle lock, but in good competition, you really don't see the straight ankle lock even really attempted anymore because just nobody taps to it. Is it because of a lack of execution or a lack of breaking in the submission itself? Is there a problem in the submission itself?
You know what? I would say the problem with the straight ankle lock is that you use a lot of energy going for it. So I liken the outside heel hook a bit to the straight ankle lock because I only want to go for either of those submissions if I've seen my opponent tap to them in the past. For me, a straight ankle lock, obviously, there's no point taking the gamble that they're going to tap when you might lose an awful lot of energy going for it. And for me, I sort of think about the outside heel hook the same way, traditionally attacking that outside heel hook in that I risk getting counter leg locks, my back taken on my guard pass and attempting it. So it's not realistic for me to really attack those positions. But again, I think you need to understand those to understand the leg lock game as a whole, understand how to control someone with a straight ankle lock, and also how to play the outside heel hook game. And quite often, when you progress through that, you can find some other leg locks in there, like using the outside heel to set up insides, but not just making that the primary focus.
How do you deal with the stimmer lock if your opponent manages to go for it when you are using the knee shield?
When we're using the knee shield?
I think the stimmer lock is more popular from De La Riva and that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah, but it can still do.
when I'm playing the Z, you can see my foot's really on the outside here. I'm not having a deep knee shield. When my knee shield's deep, they're much closer to securing this grip. So my knees, generally speaking, always on this outside here, very far from them being able to catch the steamer, or it's tucked up onto the armpit, again, very far for them to try and get that crossbody. So I'd say the most common steamer lock from this position is when people play with a foot on the hip and a knee here. If they're playing knee shield like this, that's when we're going to start having problems. And if my foot does slide cross body, but as it slides, I use the knee to push them onto their hands right. So the steamer lock's now no longer a threat.
Yeah.
So I'd say it's more a problem with how you're playing the guard than a problem of the guard.
Yeah. Why do you think toe holds are rare in no-gi? Or if you think they are rare, I don't know.
Why are they rare? I guess
They're
like if you do attack toe holds, like say if I were to attack a toe hold, say if Isaac was playing De La Riva, he could potentially turn that into a berimbolo and attack my back. So I think toe holds are rare. I think there's definitely a place for it, but as long as both my feet are in sort of this outside position here. If I can get both my legs outside, so I think that's a more realistic position to get a toe hold from. I need to control the hips, otherwise guys will be attacking berimbolos. Like if Isaac were attacking this toe hold, you can see it gives me the ability to get behind it and attack the back. So I think they're rare just because people are worried about getting their back taken, but I think it's safe from that if they've got 2 feet on the same side.
Okay. So could you break down the outside heel hook to inside heel hook transition you recently used to win at Grappling Industries?
Yeah, the one, the Tim Spriggs one? I think that's what
I
it's
think that's probably the one, right? I think so.
Yeah, so I
So
guess...
Zach Goitos.
So I guess what I was trying to think with Tim Spriggs is Tim Spriggs is probably not going to counter leg lock me. I should be careful saying that. He might do that at Kasai. But against a guy like Tim Spriggs, who I think is probably going to be pretty evasive, bouncing in, bouncing back out, getting out of there at any sign of trouble, I wouldn't be playing your traditional single leg X or X guard style, because I think he has a better ability to sprint out. So against a guy like Spriggs, I was using more of a traditional reap, which might leave me a little more vulnerable. Guys could attack a toe hold or something, but against a guy like Spriggs, it's going to attach me better. And that's the main problem with these evasive grapplers, is that I have to attach myself to them in a way that keeps me locked in long enough to attack their legs. So I'll try and explain with Spriggs. So against Spriggs, I was able to get to his leg because earlier in the match I did attack this arm, and I assume I did some damage to his elbow, so he wasn't able to meaningfully continue to block my leg injuries with this arm. This arm was out of the equation at that point. So I've come under, I've elevated Spriggs, he stood up, and I've landed with I've landed with a traditional reap hit. So I'm really just locking myself onto Spriggs. Spriggs has turned to pull his knee out, and I've unlocked my legs. And I'm attaching myself to this leg initially with a double grip, trying to prevent him trying to pull his knee out into the floor. This grip's pretty strong. And what Tim Spriggs did at this point was try to sit on me with his butt. So my foot here is giving me some space here. And when he pushes into me and I push back with this leg, it actually gives me the ability to elevate my hips. Once my hips are high and his knee's in place, come this way a bit. So I push as he pushes, right? Look what happens to my hips. My hips come off the ground and I can rotate from square, almost like a knee bar. I can pull his foot crossbody and we can attack our inside heel hook here. So really Spriggs got a bit stuck at this range here. So initially we had this reap because I'm trying to attach myself. Spriggs started to sit on me and I unlocked my feet. I use this leg to elevate the hips and I hang on to the leg at all costs. Initially with a double grip and then more of an Achilles style knee bar grip. And I use the push to elevate and swing. And we get this nice knee penetration and we can attack the inside heel hook here.
I have a question.
Yep.
So you've used the word strategy a bunch of times. The DVD that's coming out on bjjfanatics.com is strategy based. Yeah, I know what to do. And you keep using the word strategy. Is that because in all these weird, whatever you end up in positions, it does kind of have to be rules, not necessarily one set technique all the time?
Yeah, definitely. All my strategies are really based on who my opponent is and what my opponent's skill set is. So I really, I never try and think of myself as like, what's my best move from Z-guard? Where do I go from this position? It all really comes down to who my opponent is. So we obviously want all the tools to be able to do all the different strategies from that position, all the different tactics, I guess, all the different moves. But I really have to be intelligent with the strategy, you know what I mean? Like against really good wrestlers, really evasive grapplers, I need to do everything I can to get a solid attachment on the leg locks and try and have faith that we're going to strategize out of there, knowing that we're better at the leg lock game. Whereas someone that's maybe a more technical leg locker, I don't need to be so tight as more getting them floating on top and looking to attack. Because they're probably looking to counter me as well, so we're both entering the exchange, so I don't need to spend as much time holding on.
Can you show the De La Riva footlock you did on Boogie? Last I had
Boogeyman,
that.
yeah. Boogeyman's gonna hate me.
I had that. I tried and failed plenty of times with it.
Oh, really? So the Boogeyman straight ankle lock, right, is, I will say this, I used to use this move a lot in the gi, and it is easier in the gi because we got this collar grip. And the move involves me getting my hips off the ground, right? So you can see, no gi, I have to use my foot on their leg. But they need to be pushing weight back into me with this foot to give me the lift. Otherwise, if I kick this leg and they move backwards, I get no hip elevation, they just move away from me. So the benefit in the gi is, if we pretend Isaac has the gi, I can use the gi to pull myself up. So with Boogie, when I pulled De La Riva on him, right? And what I did was initially the De La Riva grip, face this way.
Can you push back a little bit?
Sorry. So we want to do an Achilles grip, like your typical De La Riva. I reached elbow deep. I want to get my elbow around the Achilles instead. So we're going elbow deep and grabbing that inner thigh. Boogeyman was pressuring. That meant he was squaring up. So he was squaring up, and that gave me the ability to push off that leg, get my hips high, and my hand switches from the inner thigh back in front of my hip here. So we've got this little pommel with elevated hips, and my hand just sits in front of the hip. As we make this transition, I relieve the De La Riva hook, put my hips back to the floor, and we bring this outside foot back inside. I don't want to leave it floating because we're very vulnerable to a leg drag. So I bring it back inside and hook. So that protects us against the leg drag. Also gives us ability to knock them on their butt. So I stretch their far leg and I axe down into their knee with the foot that was initially in the De La Riva. Once they're on their butt, I want to follow and get weight back over the top. I want to put as much weight into this foot as possible. So I drop my hip onto that foot and my elbow comes close to the hip. So initially I was up on my elbow, but this is not a very tight position. I want to get weight on the foot. So I use my outside leg to stomp and drop a lot of weight into the foot. And from here, we're just going to finish it like your typical straight ankle lock. But the beauty is because the De La Riva hook is behind their knee, it's difficult for them to put the boot on, which is, I guess, the traditional straight ankle lock defense. And we can get a good pressure into the back there. So that was the, I guess it's called the Boogeyman foot lock now. Sorry, Boogeyman.
Oh, Craig, so one question. How did you learn all of this living in Australia, you know, like?
Yeah.
And not that long ago, right? Like you were purple belt 3 years ago.
Yeah, I was purple belt that qualified for ADCC when I shouldn't have because I was in Asia and it's a bit easier there at the time. So I was worried about getting heel hooked myself after watching Pau Harez destroy people's legs. And I just went on YouTube trying to figure it out. Obviously watching the Danaher guys trying to reverse engineer what they're doing online. Really.
So you watched a lot of videos online.
Lots of videos online, yeah. I would say throughout my whole jiu-jitsu career, because I was in a small city, I didn't have access to world-class instruction or anything. All I had was training partners to drill with and instructional DVDs. This was maybe back in like 2012, 2013. I think one of the first DVDs I really drilled properly and didn't just watch was the Meow DVD, because we were trying to learn the Berimbolo, and that was like advanced physics to us back then. I had no idea what was going on.